What is going on, fellow humans? Just wanted to hop on here real quick before the video starts and tell you a little disclaimer. My video got corrupted, so the whole episode is not on YouTube. If you want to stream the whole episode, it is still on Apple and Spotify. The podcast, obviously, just a taste. So you can listen to the whole thing over there. And today we're talking with Ross Campanella, who is a national championship in marching band, an inspiring DJ. The dude is a musical machine. He is incredibly dedicated to the craft, and kind of a banger episode for you guys today. So stay tuned. 'Tis a sweet episode. And as always, thank you guys for watching this. It's super cool. So if you like the stuff, share it with a friend. If you think they would like it. If they wouldn't like it, then obviously don't share it with them. But without further ado, let's get into the video.
I grew up in Lancaster for the most part.
Nice.
So this is kind of like the area that I've been around a lot.
Cool.
Yeah,
no, we do a bunch of work that, like, probably 50% of our work's in, like, Lancaster City. Mm-hmm. Were you city or are you outskirts?
Outskirts.
Okay,
yeah.
Nice.
I went to Manham Township.
Oh, really? Oh, dude, you're rich money then. Freaking rich.
A little bit, yeah.
How did Manheim Township get that rep? Like, are kids just snobby? Or is there just money and people hate people with money?
I mean, you got to look at, like, the kids that come, or the outline of that district.
Yeah.
You got Bent Creek in there, Stonehenge, like all those like really hoity-toity like country club people. Yep. So obviously all their kids are going to go there. Yep. You're going to get that reputation. But it's a really good school, so it attracts a lot of people. So it's a. I mean, if you've seen the campus recently, like they just built a new middle school.
I don't even know where. I don't think I even know where the campus is. Where is it?
It's on 501.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can't miss it if you drive down. It's like right in Nessville.
Okay.
Yeah, and then like further back is
yes.
the rest of the campus.
Yeah, I know where you're at. I never knew that was township. That's crazy.
Yep. Yeah.
Nice. Is that where you got into band?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, did you always like? I have a huge love for music. Like, I love music. Suck at it though. Like, I can't hold a note. I can play the radio pretty well, and that's about it. But like, did you kind of?
Yeah. So like, I started music when I was in 4th grade. When everyone starts.
Yep.
Was a percussionist. Didn't want, like, my second instrument would have been trumpet, but like it's whatever.
Yeah.
Both my grandparents, my dad's side were music teachers.
Really?
So kind of get that music gene. My dad was a musician. He plays the euphonium now.
What's that?
It's a brass instrument, kind of like tenor pitch, similar to a trombone.
Okay.
You can play similar notes. It's in the same clef. It's more like for bands. It's not really for orchestras.
Gotcha. Euphonium? Dude,
yes.
How do you even spell that?
Euphonium. EUPHUON.
Euphonium. Okay,
yeah.
Let me see what this sucker even looks like.
I can't really spell.
Oh, yeah. I've seen one of these suckers before.
Yeah.
The family of the brass instruments, more particularly.
It's like a small tuba.
Yeah.
Kind of.
With many relatives. Mm-hmm. Okay, nice.
Yeah, so he plays for Calvary Church. He's in the orchestra there.
Very cool.
So he loves doing that. So then I'm percussionist, and then been playing drums. I started out doing a lot more like concert band and orchestra stuff.
Okay.
I didn't actually get into marching band until my senior year of high school.
Really?
Yeah, pretty late. Because my friend who got me into it, he was doing it like pretty much since like eighth grade, where you can start. And then he was doing band, and he loved it. And the way he got me into it was we went on this trip called AMA, American Music Abroad.
Oh, dude, which sounds bougie.
It's the coolest thing. So it's like it's this glorified vacation basically, where you like there's a band and orchestra and a choir. You like spend like a week and a half at F&M, working up a bunch of music, and then you go over to Europe and you just like tour around all the countries, play in churches, like
That's
town
sick.
Centers, and it's just you tour all over the place. I got to play on the beaches of Normandy. I got to play like in these like tiny little towns in the Alps. Like
Dude,
it's just
that's
it's
sweet.
the coolest thing ever.
And so how is it during the summer, I'm assuming?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So how long are you touring for?
It's like a couple weeks.
No way.
Yeah, it's the greatest thing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So like is it pretty rigorous, like, or do you have free time? Can you like still go explore a little bit?
Like I said, it's like a glorified vacation. So like you have a concert at like, I don't know, whatever, 6 p.m. that night, but then all day you just get to have fun, and then you're probably in that little, like, there's a town called Dinkelsbühl that we were in Germany. It's like this like picturesque, like the half-timbered houses, the pastel colors. It's like a walled city.
Dude, that's sweet.
It's the coolest thing. We got to stay there for a few days. Yeah, it's great. We got to play in like the town center.
Really?
And just like it was so much fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you ever get to play in like one of the cathedrals?
I didn't get to play. The chorus actually got to sing in the Salzburg Cathedral. They did like a little mini thing where they just like went in like the center area, and they just like sang and it just like reverberated everywhere.
That's sick.
But we got to see actually a bunch of cathedrals. We got to see the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. Got to see Reims Cathedral. There was another one. I forget the name of the town. It was closer to Normandy in France. It's kind of like up there. That was a super cool one.
Whoa, this place looks sick.
Oh, yeah. There's like 4 organs in there.
Dude,
and
that's so cool.
They're on like the 4 corners of whatever the center area. I forget what the terms are for the cathedral, but it's like they have these mirrors on them so that because the organs are facing the wall. So the organs will be playing, but they have the mirror situated where they can see the conductor, so they're all playing in time.
That's
super cool. Yeah.
Dang. So then I'm assuming you like had a route. Like, where'd you start? Like, you flew over. How many?
Yeah.
But it's with is it with the school program, or is
no,
it like
it's like its own organization.
Okay.
I think you had to try out to get into it.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly. You probably do because it's you gotta like represent America.
So is it a competition?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
It's like an audition to get into it, or you gotta do something. You gotta fill out whatever, apply, and then I think you get like recommend. I don't know what it is. I forget. But anyway, I was in it, and then we started out. We landed in Paris, spent a few days in Paris, or like a day or something in there, and then we went up to Normandy, and then we went down through like Strasbourg, and then through Baden-Baden in Germany, and then we went down to like Stuttgart, and I think we stopped like a concentration camp there or something.
No way.
Saw that. Stopped in. We made a little stop in Freiburg. We didn't stay very long, and then kind of went through Munich, and then down into Austria, and then we finished up in there, and then we flew out of Zurich.
That's how many kids are a part of this thing?
Oh, there might.
Is it like hectic to wrangle up all them kids?
It's not. So the kids are in all the other ensembles. So like a kid could be in both band, orchestra, and choir. So it can be some overlap there. There probably were like, I don't know, maybe 60 kids, something like that.
Dude, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Right on. So you said earlier you speak German. Mm-hmm. Was that like, I'm assuming you knew it before you went over?
A little bit. Not nearly what I can do now.
Yeah.
It was, so I started in 8th grade.
Okay.
So it was like we were supposed to pick a language in 8th grade for the requirements, and I had to choose from Chinese, French, German, and Spanish.
Dude, your freaking school is bougie. We had German and Chinese. Like, you're speaking Mandarin, dog?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
No, I'm not speaking Mandarin. That I didn't choose that. I think French is a disgusting language.
Yeah. French, gross.
I never got into Spanish. Like, we were forced to take Spanish in elementary school, like, just like a little bit introductory stuff. I never got into it.
Yeah.
So then I chose German, and then the more I learned it, the more I kind of fell in love with it.
That's cool.
And I'm bilingual, so to speak.
Yeah.
As best you can, being in America, not surrounded by anybody who speaks German, but I try and keep up with it. And I feel it's important because the rest of the world is bilingual, if not trilingual. Yes. I know in Germany, you are required to take 2 languages. Most people take 3 languages.
Really?
So they speak German. Everybody takes English.
Yeah.
So everyone knows English.
Yep.
And then they'll take like French or Spanish or Italian or something. So they know all these different languages because they can just like go on vacation in Europe and go all over the place. And here in America, we speak English, and that's about it.
And we don't even speak it well. It's just slang terms.
Yeah. So when I was there, I knew like it was, I don't know, 2015 was when I went.
Okay.
So I was like a sophomore, junior in high school. So I had some understanding. I had enough that I could like, do a little chit chat with our bus drivers. The first thing I said to a German person was "Haben Sie Spaghetti Eis," which is, do you have spaghetti ice? Which is this, it's like spaghetti ice cream. Ew. What they do? Oh no, it's amazing. They take vanilla ice cream.
Okay.
They put it through a noodle press. Oh. So it looks like spaghetti. Then they put strawberry sauce and like coconut shavings on top. And
cool.
It's so good.
I thought we were mixing pasta and cream there for a second. No. Yeah. Nice. That's sweet. Are the foods like? Is German food like much different? Like, what is German food? I don't know. I'm very unwell traveled. Like I haven't traveled.
So the stereotypical stuff is like sausages and cheese and pretzels, which is pretty much what they eat. Like a lot of bread, a lot of meats, some vegetables. Like they have like curry. Like they have a big influence with turkey.
Okay.
Like that's like they have a
like
lot
the
of,
country or the animal.
The country.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of trade between them and whatnot, and a lot of cuisine is traded. They have a lot of like doner kebabs, which is like they just get like a big hunk of meat on this like spit that just like spins around this heater, and they just like cut off pieces for you and give it to you. So it's just like it's my kind of food. You know, like beer and meat and cheese. Like that's all I need.
That's awesome.
So I was having a good time.
Yeah, dude, that's sweet. What was I just gonna say? I have a horrible memory. I literally have trains of thoughts and then just lose them. What were we talking about? Food, Germany. A
lot of meat, a lot of cheese.
Oh yeah, I was because I think I don't know. There's a place in Lancaster called Slovakia Boys. I think it's Greek food. They do like gyros, and they do that. The huge spit of meat, and they're just slicing it off. It's actually delicious. Yeah, it's freaking awesome. They make banger food. But yeah, no, I haven't really. I've been like south out of the country, but never to Europe. I really want to go, but I don't know. Now I got a kid on the way, so I don't know if that'll happen anytime soon. It's freaking crazy, but dude, that's cool.
Yeah, there's a place on I think it's 23 New Holland Pike.
Okay, yep.
Called Beer House. No, a beer hall or something. It's like a microbrewery that's kind of German inspired. If you go there, that's kind of the like German food and German beer, but like real German beer is like it's so good.
Really?
It's so good.
I'm not a beer guy.
Really?
So what's the difference between like American beer and German beer?
Well, here in America we like light beer.
Yeah.
Which like they make similar stuff like in Cologne, Germany. They make a thing called a Kolsch. Okay. Which is like a similar to a light beer that we have here, but their beer is a lot like fuller, like a lot more maltier.
Like and my definition might be like a stout. Is that a beer definition?
Yeah, they'll have stouts, but it's kind of more like Yingling Lager.
Okay,
is more closer to what they have. Which actually Yingling Lager is made like German beer. Like that's like their kind of thing. Is they try to use the German recipes. Which there was like a law like I don't know a few hundred years ago that the Germans passed. That is like this is how we make beer. It's with these 4 ingredients, and if it's not this, it's not beer.
Then you're getting arrested. Yeah, like it's a legitimate law.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I forget what it's called, but like that's how they make beer. And
interesting.
That's in there, because like people used to mix all kinds of stuff in beer and like spike it with like drugs and other stuff. So it got pretty crazy. And the
just
Germans
a little fentanyl in your beer.
Stuff for some like psychedelics or stuff like that. People are crazy.
Dang, that's wild. Honestly, shows how untraveled I am. The only experience I have with German is Hogan's Heroes. You ever watch that? The old TV show?
I know what it is.
Dude, it's a classic.
I never seen it.
Oh, it's so good about POWs, man. Hilarious show. That's the only experience I have with German. Our German, like the language is very harsh. Like it sounds like you're angry. Right?
So I'm gonna push back on that a little bit.
Yeah, push back.
Yes and no. That can be said with like a lot of languages.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're like French, like if I say croissant.
Yeah, French is a dirty language. We don't want it.
But people say it's very romantic. Like in German, I could say like Schmetterling, which means butterfly. Right? If I say it really nicely, That's nice, but I could also say, "Du bist die beste Person," yeah, which means you're the best person. But I say it in a way that it can be taken that way. Here in America, we just hear Germany and then we associate Nazis. So we just immediately think like German bad, and we hear Germans and we like to make fun of that, which like I totally get. But someone who studied it for many years, I think it's a very eloquent language, and when spoken right, it's very sophisticated and all that stuff. But
cool,
the kind of stereotypes.
I think I know ambulance, Krankenwagen.
Yeah,
Is that that's like I love that word. It's awesome. But that's the only German word I know.
Yeah.
Being in Lancaster, like we have a ton of Amish which speak High German. Is that overlap or is it a different language?
No, that's what I speak. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. So High German or Hochdeutsch is like that's like the standard German.
Yeah.
So German, like most language, like even like English, there's a lot of dialects.
For sure.
The thing with German is those dialects have been developing for hundreds, probably like over 1,000 years.
Yeah,
so
it's an older country.
Like you go in like the backcountry Germany, you're gonna hear German that doesn't sound like German, but it's still German.
Yeah.
But it's just like it sounds like its own language, which can be pretty difficult. So like they have the standard German, the Hochdeutsch, which is what like you'll hear in the news, all that stuff. But like here in America, like you go down south in like Louisiana,
dude,
like you're gonna hear something
wild.
You don't even know.
Dude, it is wild. We went down to Louisiana. What hurricane was that? A hurricane hit down there, and we went down with the organization Samaritan's Purse, which is like disaster relief cleanup. Dude, you have some sawed-off freaking rednecks down there. It's like I literally don't understand a word you're saying. And then, it's just like these Cajun boys missing teeth, and you're like, dude, what is it? Is your obviously there's some very good people down there, but like there's a reason stereotypes exist, and it's like I found the guy that stereotype existed off of. It was awesome. It was actually super cool, but hard to understand. And he was speaking English. It's just like, dude, I don't understand a word.
Yeah,
it's crazy. But dude, that's cool. So I'm like, I'm fascinated by this German thing, to be honest. With that, like, do you have any German heritage, or are you just like, okay,
yeah? So
which pretty much every American does.
Yeah,
Swiss German. That's what I am.
Pretty common. Yeah, I'm. My dad's mother.
Okay.
She's like the Pennsylvania Dutch kind of.
Yep.
Her last name was Flinchbaugh.
Oh yeah, dude.
So it all goes back to Germany. Which like the Amish, their Pennsylvania Dutch is a combination of German, Dutch, and English.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So it's like all three. So like as an English speaker, if you hear it, you probably understand a lot more than you'd be able to think, than you think you could. And like I can understand a lot more. But it's interesting. The Bibles that they like use in church and whatnot is all in High German.
Really?
So they speak both High German and Pennsylvania Dutch.
Which is that? I could be way wrong on this. What is isn't there a famous like German Bible? Is it the Guten something Bible?
The Gutenberg Bible?
Yeah. I didn't know. I think I heard that in a movie and it just stuck with me. Cool. Yeah, dude. I mean, there's more German. Like, you're in Amish country. You can speak German to people then. Go to any like flea market, dude, and there's Amish people there. Get a job at Green Dragon. I used to work with this Amish dude. He was hilarious. The most insane dude I've ever worked with. So like Amish, they're very interesting because they are, and we all do it, but they just do it in absurd ways that we think it's weirder. Like, they're the pinnacle of hypocrisy. It's like, and I don't say that like ill intent, like, because I have stuff. It's just not as like it's socially acceptable, so it's okay. Like with them, I was talking to this guy, like, you can't have a phone in the house, but if it's in the barn, it's fine. Like, electricity can be to the barn, not the house. But then you can have like battery powered stuff, which still runs on electricity. Like, you're allowed rubber. Well, depending. Then there's like Amish and then Joe Wangers, which then there's a little distinction there. But anyway, this dude was so funny. I loved him. His name was Sam Stoltzfus. And
classic.
Yeah, classic Amish name. Like, stereotypic Amish guy. Just a wild dude. Like, was having the time of his life. So I bought a Mazda RX-8 when I was 18 or no, 17. Doesn't matter. And relatively fast car. I drove like an idiot when I was younger. And he comes to work in his buggy every day. I said, hey, Sam, you want to ride in this? Well, that's a lot more horsepower than I'm used to. I was like, dude, come on. And I'm a young, dumb kid, so I'm like, I'm going to give this guy the freaking ride of his life. So I'm slapping through gears. We're passing people, and we get to a long straight stretch, and there's 3 cars in front of me. And I, like, peek out, and I was like, I seen a car coming in the other direction. I was like, I think I can make it. Downshift, rip around these guys, and you just see him just, like, clenching up. And I totally misjudged how close this other car was. And I was like, oh, boy. Oh, we are getting close. And it's literally the guys that I'm passing brake. The other guy brakes. I whip it in, and he's just like, it was so off. I was honestly scared. I was like, that was super dumb. But, yeah, dude was just hilarious. He told us a story, and this was wild. He had a buddy that before he worked where I worked, he worked on a construction crew, which like Amish are awesome carpenters and craftsmen. One guy would always bring whoopie pies because like whoopie pies are a big Amish like delicacy, and all the guys would try to steal them because they were the best. And he's like, dude, he's like, well, hey, I'll like have my wife make you guys a batch. So brings them in, gives them out to the guys, and they're just like dying over these things. Oh, they're so good. He's like, you got to tell us what you're using. Like, how do you make these so good? And he's like, well, like my wife just uses her breast milk. And I was like, dude, what the world? Like, that is insane. But yeah, dude, he had story after story. The one time he had like this beef with one of the deacons in the church, and they like drag raced their buggies. And it's like, that is the coolest thing.
It's like some Amish mafia stuff.
Yeah, it was so funny. I was like, I love this. Yeah, he was awesome. But yeah, Amish, they're very, I would love to get an Amish guy. I should reach out to him. I don't know how I would reach out to him though. But yeah, they're super fascinating because they're like kind of removed from the world, but I think sometimes people like can look at the Amish and like, wow, they're so like sheltered. Dude, Amish are some of the biggest partiers during Rumspringa. Freaking wild.
Well, yeah, you got 18 years of nothing. And
exactly.
Then
go for it. And then, yeah, you can come back to the church if you want, but like absolutely insane. Because I used to live right down from a big Amish house, and like once a year, they would throw an absolute rager. And I stayed out way too late when I was younger. And I like coming home at like 3 a.m, and there's like in the field, they like cut the field, like 24 volleyball courts, 3 a.m, they're playing volleyball. There's at least 50 buggies, hundreds of scooters and bikes. And I'm just like, what's going on? Then I got talking to, through my wood shop class at school, I got talking to an Amish guy that went to these parties. He's like, you would not believe the amount of drugs that go on at these parties. And he's like, the amount of drugs, the amount of sex, he's like, it is insane. And like, I was one of those people where I was like, oh yeah, they're so like good and pure. And I was like, oh dude, like this is crazy. It was hilarious. But yeah, who knew, man?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. And that guy was awesome. Sam was such a good dude. And that's something too, like, I feel like even with the Cajun thing, and we were saying, and like the German, like you have your stereotypes and you kind of draw conclusions when you actually don't know anything about these people. And then you meet them and you're like, they're awesome. Like they're super good people. Yeah. And like, it's like you said, like we think German and we're like Nazi, like bad. And it's like, no, like and yeah, even with the Amish, like, oh yeah, they're buggy, like sheltered, like don't know the world. It's like, no, like these people they're awesome. And yeah, every sect of people has like those one in every crowds that gives everyone the bad name. But but no, it was funny. But circling back, now that we went on a huge tangent on that, circling back after senior year, did that trip. Then Greg told me you went off to college.
Yeah.
So where was kind of what was that like? Did you go for band specifically?
No, I went for okay. So when I was in high school, I was super into astronomy.
Really?
And our high school had a planetarium.
Okay.
So I took an independent study with the planetarium director, and he taught me how to program planetarium shows and do the thing. And I was the president of the astronomy club for 3 years.
Cool.
So I programmed a bunch of shows, did a bunch of public presentations, raised a bunch of money for the club.
So what's a show? Like, what's in a planetarium show?
So ours was like a Spitzer dome. So it's like this kind of like pillar in the middle with like a half moon shape, half circle ball.
Okay.
That has like lasers in it, and it like projects on the screen. So it's not just like a star ball where it has like star holes. It's like you can like fly to the moon, and you can like go to all these planets and like orbit like stuff, and you could program all this stuff. So you could like start on Earth like at the high school, like the exact latitude, and like you can like take panoramas, so you can have like, you know, like you're standing outside by the flagpole and this is what it looks like, and here's the stars, and then you can like, oh, here's a star there, let's just fly there. So you can just like take off and fly to, you can do all kinds of crazy stuff.
Is it accurate to like the sky on that day?
Yeah.
Really?
Or you could go back 2,000 years and like where that spot would look like and what the sky would look like.
That's cool.
Or you could do it on the far side. Like you do, it's like literally the like endless possibilities, like whatever you want to do. So I got to learn how to mess around with that when I was in high school. So I was super into it. So then when I went to college, my first semester I actually went for astronomy and astrophysics.
Okay.
That ended very quickly because I cannot do math.
Dude, I can't either.
I had to. Well, I dropped calculus because I just couldn't do calculus, but I still had to do calculus-based physics.
Okay.
Somehow I passed that class. The highest grade I ever got was a 51% on a test. The only reason I passed was because we did like a bunch of group work stuff, and it carried me.
Yeah.
But I could not do that. So then I'm in there. I'm like, well, I'd rather spend 6 hours in a practice room than 6 hours doing math homework. So I switched to music, and you know it's always been a passion of mine. So I figured, hey, let's give it a shot. So I didn't go to Penn State necessarily for music.
Oh, so that's where you went. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Penn State main campus. So then I studied there for the rest of the time, really mainly focused on like just like a general percussion degree. So that's like, you know, playing bands, orchestras. I played in the percussion ensemble, mallet ensemble, did all the bands and orchestras there. And then again, I didn't do blue band until my senior year.
What's blue band?
That's the marching band.
Oh,
there.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense.
So we play at the football games, go to bowl trips.
That's cool.
So much fun. I wish I did that all 4 years. But the thing with blue band is it's such a big time commitment.
Yeah.
It's actually most of the people in the blue band are not music majors.
Really?
Because it's too much. Like if you want to really dedicate yourself to a music degree, like you're spending hours in the practice room, which is what I was doing, and all that stuff. And but the blue band's kind of more like your actual college experience.
Okay.
So like what happened was I went to school doing the music thing, and then COVID happened. Mm-hmm. So, which is like I was gonna double major in German, but then I couldn't study abroad because of COVID and the quarantine thing. So I just minored. But anyway, so I took a year off from school because it was like a complete joke.
Yeah.
Like what they were doing with like the standards and all that stuff. It was just like a waste of money. So I took a year off. Just kind of worked at the Chick-fil-A up there.
Oh, yeah?
Made a bunch of money.
Yeah, Lord's chicken, dude.
Oh, yeah. It was great. I single-handedly made all the chicken for all of State College on game day. Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
It was me, and because it was our store, like, within, like, a few months of when it was built, was outdated. So it was, like, an outdated version of the Chick-fil-A. Like, it was just, like, really small kitchen, and, like, there's only one drive-through. Like, it would always just get, like, backed up out in the street and all the way down the road. It was a big thing, so they had to remodel it. But when I worked there, it was not remodeled. And there was one person making the chicken, and that was me. And on game day, it was crazy.
Dude, that's nuts.
Yeah. Anyway, so so then I had a year to kind of, like, get a new perspective on what I wanted out of college. So then when I went back for like the reasons that like I wanted to go, and so I tried for the blue band. I made it, and it was so much fun.
Are those tryouts like pretty vigorous?
Yeah,
like you got to be top of the line.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, there's like they'll take like 12 snare, like 10, 11 snares, like 7 quads and 7 basses. So it's a pretty big drum line, but they take the cream of the crop.
So what was your instrument of choice?
That was a snare drum.
Okay, that's just a single? Or is that the...
Yeah, that's the single one.
That's down here, though. It's not the big one that you wear on your...
No,
what's that one?
That's the bass drum.
Okay, yeah. Dude, I don't know,
Hey, that's all right. Some people don't know. So that's what I did in high school. So I had a lot of chops from doing drum corps over the summers. So that's how I made it.
I think my biggest, or my only drum experience is the movie Whiplash with Miles Teller and then Drumline. Did you ever watch Drumline?
Yes.
Oh, dude, that movie was rocking.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's all I know about drums and percussion and everything. So what else is in, I don't even know, honestly, what the definition of percussion is. I know it's drums, but is it anything you're,
it's like
hitting something with?
Basically everything you hit, that's a percussion instrument. So technically a piano is a percussion instrument.
Really?
Because when you depress the key, there's a hammer that hits a string. So it's technically a percussion instrument. People don't really think about it that much. But I mean, so there's more percussion instruments than all other instruments combined. There's so many, and each has their own technique. Like even the triangle has a specific technique to get the best possible sound.
So that's like a legitimate instrument in use. Because I remember in middle school, I was just freaking ricking that thing.
Yeah, there's
the dinner bell.
There
dude.
are orchestral excerpts that if you want to, let's say, perform in the Philadelphia Orchestra, you have to play a triangle part, and they're listening for a specific sound that they want. So you got to practice the triangle. It's doesn't seem like much or important, but it's very important because it's a very articulate and loud instrument. So you will hear it. Cool. If you hit it, so you got to hit it right. Yeah.
With that, is there different keys or pitches depending on where you hit it, or it's all just one?
Kinda. It's usually just kind of one pitch. If you hit it in the wrong area, it's gonna not make as full of a sound.
Gotcha.
Usually you change pitches by getting bigger or skinnier triangles. Or made out of different materials.
Gotcha. I didn't know if there was any that started skinny and then as it went around it got thicker. And,
no,
okay.
I don't think so. I mean, there might be. You can make one. It's gonna sound weird, but
dude, I just saw. Well, not just saw this. It was a kid. I don't know. You might have seen the video. It was awesome. He made a PVC drum set where it's he the first model he made was just spatulas, and he just made the PVC tubes different lengths, and then he figured out each key. Dude, it was so cool.
It's kind of like the Blue Man Group.
Yeah, and he made it for his senior project, and he ripped on this thing, just playing Mario and Pirates of the Caribbean theme. It was wildly cool. But yeah, that's about my my drum experience. Oh, I also played the drums in a garage band, or not what is it?
Rock Band.
No. Is it Rock Band?
Yeah.
The one on the Wii?
Yeah.
Rock Band?
Or is it Guitar Hero?
Guitar Hero, yes. Yeah. Guitar Hero. Oh, yeah, dude. I could shred on beginner. That's cool. So then, with up at Penn State, how wild is a whiteout game?
Oh, it's insane,
dude.
It's insane. So I'm wearing earplugs, and it's so loud.
Just
it's
thundering.
so loud. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And we're the Blue Band is situated right next to the student section.
Okay, yeah.
So it's crazy. It's absolutely insane.
That's so cool. Yeah, my buddy and me might go up this year for a whiteout game. I forget even who it's. I'm not a big football guy, but I feel that's just something. If you live in PA, you should experience that experience.
Yeah. And doing pregame on the field, it's so loud. So when the drum line comes out in the beginning, they're supposed to tap off, and then you start the whole thing. You can barely hear the tap off, so you're just kind of waiting, and then you're ready to go, and then you just got to go on autopilot because it's so hard to hear anything because everyone's just screaming.
Oh yeah, true. So I guess you practice that much that it becomes second nature. But yeah, if you're not being able to hear, are you ever off?
I mean, but it's hard to tell because number one, the acoustics in Beaver Stadium are terrible.
Yeah.
It's so bad. You're sitting on different spots, you can barely hear the band. They're not blasting right at you. So it's hard to hear in that sense, and then everyone's screaming. It's like no one can really hear. So like if you're off, it's not that bad because no one can really hear.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But yeah, it's wild.
Now, like, I'm just thinking about like the old time. This fascinates me. Like the old time war drums. Like you're setting the precedence for the battle.
Yeah.
Is that kind of how like the football is? Like, do you like? Because I feel like that would amp you up. Like if you're playing and you're like on ready to get onto the field. Like, do you guys like rip a fat beat for the players walking out onto the field or something? Or do they have like already programmed like pump up music playing?
We have like our fight song that we play when we score and all that stuff. But like that's like the rope drum, like that's how this whole activity started.
Really?
Was like from like the Revolutionary War.
Yep.
Like that kind of lining up and like the fife and drum corps like marching the troops into battle. Like that's where this originated.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of evolved into this crazy
from that
activity.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, dude. There's times and like I love like Viking music for whatever reason, and dude, just hearing some war drums, dude, it's so cool.
Yeah.
It makes you want to pick up an axe and just go out into battle.
Yeah.
But no, there was a movie, and this is not anywhere near historically accurate, but The Great Wall with Matt Damon.
I haven't seen it.
It's like it's a movie about the Great Wall of China, but totally fiction. And they actually built the wall to keep out like all these like creatures.
Yeah.
And then they have people with nunchucks like hitting the drums, like ripping this fat beat. And I was like,
it was like taiko drums.
I have no idea. What are those?
So taiko drums are like the big drums. It's a Japanese drum. They'll get these sticks and they'll just like do these like big motions and like kind of whack.
Dude, it's
these
so
massive
cool.
Drums.
And then I got into like a rabbit trail of like actually looking up like war drum people. Dude, it's like they're exerting themselves to no other. They're like, and they're like doing choreography with it. It's like, this is sweet.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to be louder than the battle, you know, which can be pretty loud.
Like that would be. Like, I often think of that, what that must be, like, feel like. Like, you're standing there, and all of a sudden you just hear, like, like coming towards you, and it just gets like, dude, you would be freaked out of your mind. Like, intimidation factor, that'd be so, not that it would be cool to experience that, but it would, like, I'd love to know that feeling.
Yeah.
Oh, not that I'd want to be in the war then.
Oh, no.
Like, I just want to get there and be like, all right, this is cool, I'm out. But, you know, that's sweet.
It's crazy to think that there was a time like Vikings. Like there was a time in history where like you would just be like in your village, just minding your own business. It's just another Sunday, and then all of a sudden, just the horde of the biggest, meanest people you've ever seen in your life come, and they just kill everybody and take all your stuff, and it's just wow.
And people are like, oh, there's violence nowadays. It's like, dude, yes, there is. But, like, do you know what happened back then?
Yeah, man, it's nuts.
But you're kind of keeping the Viking alive. You got the Viking look. It's freaking sweet.
Got I love it. Scandinavian heritage.
Yeah. It's cool. Now there's a dude, I see his reels. He, like, has pretty much your exact same haircut. And then he'll just, like, there's people that'll post, like, stuff like them using, like, axe or something, like, flipping around. And he's like, we need to like send an invitation to these people. He acts like he's like this commander. It's kind of funny, but are you? This is super random now. My brain just went there. Have you watched any like Viking shows? There's like a ton of Viking shows.
I've seen them all.
Oh yeah,
they're all super cool. That's kind of where I got the inspiration for this look a little bit. I'm just kind of channeling my heritage. But
absolutely.
Like my favorite ones are Vikings, like the original Vikings one, super good. Vikings Valhalla is a really good one. And
I watched that one. I watched the first season, but I didn't watch anything past that.
That one's pretty good. And then the Last Kingdom is not. It's about the Vikings, but it's more about Alfred.
Okay.
It's kind of like about the Vikings invade England, and then just like all that craziness that happened in like the late 900s.
Yeah. Dude, did you play? Are you a video game guy at all?
A little bit. Yeah.
Did you play the Assassin's Creed Valhalla?
No.
That was cool. Like I didn't know. And obviously, this is a disclaimer. You should not use video games to learn about history, but they actually kind of do a solid job of it. Because I'll like look stuff look stuff up after I play the game, and it's like relatively accurate. So the cool thing about that was the Assassin's Creed Origins was in
Greece?
Egypt.
Oh, Egypt, right.
And I was an art student at PCAD, right in Lancaster, before I played the game. And so you're like learning about art history and all these old artifacts. And one of the oldest art pieces on record that we have access to is like this little blue hippo. It's like a pottery thing. And so I learned about this. I'm playing the game, and I go up to like this merchant to like buy armor and stuff. And there's this little blue hippo sitting, and it rocked my world. I was like, dude, the amount of detail these people are putting into it. So then I kind of went on this like huge tangent and like actually looked up, like their developer teams go to Egypt, like take surveys of the land, like research like for months about the culture. And then, yeah, I played the Viking one, and yeah, it was the same thing. I was like, actually started looking stuff up. I was like, whoa, this is like kind of accurate. Yeah. That's sweet. Like, I learned more from Assassin's Creed than I did in any history class, which is insane. But
yeah, I mean, you can't discount video games.
Yeah,
like it is fantasy, but it's in that world, and you can kind of explore and see it in ways that you wouldn't see it in a classroom. You know,
dude. Yeah, it was fascinating. I was like, this is insane. And now video games are getting nutty. Graphics are insane.
Yeah, I'm a big strategy gamer.
Oh yeah.
So I play PC. Not like a ton of PC gaming, but my favorite games are the Total War games.
Oh yeah.
You heard of those?
Dude, they're great.
Yeah. So just like, control large armies, like political intrigue, take over the world, kind of stuff. I'm a big chess player.
Really? Nice. Do you have like your rating?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What are you?
I'm a 12-6. Actually, I'm like a 1270-ish.
Dude, you're just a medieval dude. That's kind of rocking.
It is my favorite time period.
It is. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, fantasy medieval gets me. The plagues and everything, I don't love that.
Well, so I like 1100s to the 1300s.
Okay.
Yeah. So like right up until the Black Plague.
Yeah.
At like basically like from the end of the Viking Age to like the plague is kind of my favorite period. Because like after that, 1300s, like it just kind of gets like everyone's in like, well, not everyone's in it, like full plate armor, which is like kind of like cheat mode.
Yeah.
And then there's like guns and like cannons, and it's like then it's not like like medieval like fighting with swords, like may the best man win, as opposed to like, oh, I'll just use this cannon and just kill everybody.
Yeah, freaking launch it.
Yeah.
Did you ever go to the Ren Fair?
I have been.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never been there. Is it a cool thing? Like, or is it like kind of cheesy?
I mean, it's when I went, it was like a school trip.
Okay.
So it was pretty fun. But I mean, it's kind of like what you put into it, what you get out of it. Like they have all kinds of stuff. I would not suggest buying any swords there because they're not real. I'm a big real sword aficionado. I've bought some swords.
I was gonna say
online.
You got some swords.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I got a. It's actually sitting right back here. I got a katana.
Oh really?
From my grandpa. He was in the war.
Oh.
But I don't honestly have much background on.
Oh, is this like he got this from like somebody?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I don't have like any background on it. It was literally just up in his attic for like the longest time, and then he passed, and I was like, "This is kind of sick. I'm taking this."
No, this is super cool.
I have no idea if it's like authentic or anything like that. I'm assuming probably not because the blade looks like dog. But
well, I mean, it's just not taken care of. I don't think this isn't like a high quality sword.
Yeah.
I think I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure like during the war they just kind of like manufactured a bunch of these swords for their officers.
Yeah.
Normally, like there's a couple forges in Japan, which I've actually toured one of them.
No way.
My family went on vacation to Japan, and we like toured one of the forges. And there's only like a few of them because there's only certain places where you can get the steel. It's called Tomahogany steel.
Okay.
And when they forge it, like there's this like kind of wavy thing you see on the blade. It's called a mahone.
Okay.
And it's like just a way that they forge it and like what they do to temper the steel.
Really.
So this is it's probably like a like a real one they made in like 1940 or something. But I don't think it's like a 300-year-old katana or anything like that. But that's super cool.
Yeah, I was kind of pumped about it.
Yeah, you could sharpen that blade and everything. That looks nice.
But I just watched, and now it's terrible that I find out all my information. When you were saying about like the wavy thing, I just watched the Blue-Eyed Samurai on Netflix.
I haven't seen that.
It's like it's an animation, and it's about this like half breed. So it's like Asian person or Japanese person, and then like she had a white father, so like an outcast, and then she becomes like the best samurai, and she was like forging swords, and it had the wavy thing. I was like, oh, that's kind of neat, but I just thought it was like aesthetic of the movie, so that's actually like a legitimate thing.
Yeah, that's, if you see that, that's like a legitimate.
Really?
Well, I mean, maybe not legitimate, because again, like there's like a couple forges in Japan, but that's more of what a
higher quality.
Higher quality would
cool.
look like. Yeah, I forget, because it like when you. It's like how they fold the steel, and then when they forge it, they like that like wavy pattern. They put like a clay on the outside of it, so that when they dip it in the water to cool it, it doesn't cool that metal as quickly as the outside, and like that. I think that causes it to bend and all this. It's a lot of crazy sciencey stuff. I don't exactly know how you forge it.
Forging fascinates me. It's cool. Yeah. I've got a book on it. I wanted to. There's the one farmer up here is like just a massive tinkerer, and he like built his own little forge, and I was like, dude, this is sweet. Yeah, stuff like that's awesome. I used to make like throwing stars and stuff, dude. It was so fun, and actually like hammering out metal. That is like, I think, one of the manliest things you can do.
Oh yeah,
you're heating up some metal, you're sweating your butt off, and you're just nailing this thing with a hammer. I didn't forge anything good. It was always like crooked as junk. I didn't know what I was doing. But you just feel awesome. You're like, this is so cool.
Yeah. No, if I could be teleported back into medieval Europe, I would either want to be a knight or a blacksmith.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. The knight, you definitely... Well, were blacksmiths regarded pretty highly since they're making, like, valuable weapons?
I would say so. Like, they're a craftsman.
Yeah.
So they're a skilled laborer, so that's very valuable back in that time. And depends what type of blacksmith you were, because like a blacksmith would also make like horseshoes and like tools and all that other stuff. But then you would have your weaponsmiths who would make all the swords and all the armor. Yeah. So it's you have the different levels. But they definitely were sought after, because a good blacksmith will make you good sword, good armor, which is valuable in battle, because you don't want your sword to break or
chink in the armor.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, speaking of this is kind of random, but you said horseshoes. I just met a farrier the other day, which is someone that actually like shoes horses. I didn't even know that was like a job. I was like, this is sweet. He actually like makes the horseshoes still and then puts them on the horse's feet. Yeah, I was like, that's kind of sick. Like, what an obscure job that I would have never thought of.
Well, I mean, each horse hoof is unique. The hoof print, so to speak. You know?
And then I started looking up videos of like horseshoe, and then I got into this vein of the algorithm fed me, where it's apparently if you don't tend to like a cow hoof or a horse hoof, it can get like infected, and then there's like air pockets that get filled with pus, and there's videos of like you cleaning the hoof. Dude, it's kind of addictive to watching that stuff. And I was like, what am I doing? It's like 2 a.m, and I'm watching like this guy clean a hoof of a cow, and then they have to put like a block on it because they take so much off. That way it's like level until it grows back. I was like, this is insane.
Yeah, I think I've seen him like shave horse hooves.
Yeah, I was like, what a strange vein I just got in. But yeah, I was in it. I was kind of hooked. But what a random tangent.
Yeah.
Dude, sorry. That's 100% how my brain works.
Yeah, that's all right.
What were we talking about before we got on that? We went far. We went deep into that. we went deep into that one.
Yeah, where were we? So I started with German, and then I was talking about the AMA trip, and then we just kind of...
Yeah, Penn State.
Blue band, war drums.
Oh, yeah, that's what I wanted to ask. So with that, like, I'm assuming that's... Well, Greg also told me you guys won nationals then. Is that right or is that wrong?
What, with the blue band?
Or with something. He just said you were like in a marching band and you won national champs.
That was so the drum corps that I marched with.
Okay.
The Reading Buccaneers. This past summer.
Oh, you're still doing it?
Yeah.
Oh, right on. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So we're in the off season right now.